Into Sports Memo's betting podcast, NFL Championship Sunday, championship weekend here with Minty Bets, breaking down the two games. Also got a little off-topic sports betting topics that we want to hit on today's show. So Minty, welcome in. How are you doing today?
Good, Drew. How are you?
I'm doing good. Happy Friday to you, Minty. And heck, we were just talking a little bit off camera about the off-topic stuff, but also about Tennessee, Kansas City, Green Bay versus San Francisco. What about like your overall thoughts here off the top, Minty, in terms of the four teams left? Do you think they're the top four teams in the NFL? Do you think that there's anything kind of that surprises you at this point in the season with these four teams left?
I am surprised the Titans got as far as they did because they were so average this entire season. And then kind of when it mattered most, they just came out of nowhere. So that's really cool, but also kind of surprising. First thought that pops up in my head is I think the Niners and the Chiefs are the favored ones to go to the Super Bowl. And I can totally see that. And I have, a futures bet for the Niners to win the NFC. So I really hope the Niners are in it because I want to cash this in.
Yes. So you got your futures bet on the Niners. Do you look to hedge at all, or do you think kind of hedging is a little bit overrated?
Nah, I don't hedge. If I lose, I lose, and that's it. I'll just learn from my mistakes for next season.
Let it ride. I love it, Minty. I'm the same way. I think hedging is kind of getting overblown as sports betting is becoming a little bit more mainstream here. People are kind of forgetting that it costs money to hedge and it becomes expensive. And then
exactly. Therefore, it's more of a loss to me, in my opinion. So I just let it ride.
Well said, Minty. Well, let's break down these two games here. We got 3:13, 3:14, 3 o'clock Eastern kick on Sunday, January 19th. Tennessee Titans, Kansas City Chiefs. We're seeing 53 is the total here, Minty. And the Chiefs minus mostly 7.5. As we're talking right now, of course, this is Friday afternoon. It's either 7 or 7.5. You can actually shop around and get either number. So it's smart, guys, to have more than one sports book. And this is a key number. So depending which side you want, you can find the more advantageous number for you. But either way, Kansas City minus 7.5, 53 the total, Minty.
Yes. So we've seen, I've noticed this entire week, both the Chiefs game and this Niners game, the line has been at 7.5, and it's just floating around there. There's no 6.5, 8s, and it's pretty solid there. So anyway, Derrick Henry, we know, is a beast. I doubted him last week and didn't think he would be able to take down the Baltimore Ravens by himself, yet he did pretty much. That being said, I don't like betting against the Chiefs. They're such a solid team, and Andy Reid is a really respectable and effective coach. But I also feel like Mike Vrabel could be like the Bill Belichick of this season. And, I love the Chiefs, but the Titans, like I said, out of nowhere, they scare me. And no one's going to stop Derrick Henry on the Chiefs. He's like a bulldozer. So I don't know about the side. I lean Kansas City, but I don't know if I would bet it. I do like the over because we know the Chiefs can score like crazy. They've only been held to their season low of 13 points only once this entire season, and that was way back in Week 5 against the Colts. In their last 6 games, they've scored no less than 23 points, and Tennessee has shown that they can also put some points up and at the same time hold their opponents to the teens in their last 3 games, like 12, 13, 14 points.
Right.
And Drew, I know you like the over too, and the other day you mentioned in our WagerTalk video that something about like Tennessee's red zone defense, and I think that was an excellent point to make. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of, I just think that the offense and defense for each of these, I guess I'll phrase it this way, in terms of what Kansas City does good on offense, Minty, Tennessee struggles with on defense, and likewise in reverse. I mean, we're talking about the Kansas City defense here, which yards per carry allowed is 29th in the NFL. Now, they did get better towards the end of the season, but still struggling against, the teams that really pound the ball. They have trouble up the middle stopping the ground attack. That's exactly what Tennessee does good with Derrick Henry, like you were saying, Minty. And on the other side of that, what points me towards the over, and I bet the over at 52.5, where we are still seeing some 52.5s out there. It's mostly 53 now. But Tennessee has a weak red zone defense. They're 28th in the NFL, Minty, and their sack rate is 20th in the NFL. And Jonathan Van Tobel of VSiN was the one that he put out all these stats. And I just kind of tailed him on these stats because, down at this point of the season, it gets very difficult to kind of find value. These lines are really sharp. If you're kind of laying your whole bankroll here on bets in the NFC Championship, AFC Championship, Super Bowl, I just think it gets very difficult. So finding little advantages like this, I think can really help you out in finding more winners than losers. So as of right now, I have one bet, Minty, and it's on the over of this Tennessee-Kansas City game, mainly for those stats. Tennessee has a weak red zone defense, like you were leading on to, 28th in the NFL. And if you're not holding Kansas City to field goals, you're making them, or if you're not holding them to field goals, yes, and they're scoring touchdowns, they're going to be hard to beat, and they're going to score a lot of points, Minty.
Yeah, I agree. Very well said. Thank you very much. I couldn't remember exactly what you said, but when you said it, I was like, yes, this absolutely makes sense, and it makes me want to back up the over even more. So I am on the over as well. I don't know how it's going to move, but I also got it at 52.5 back on Wednesday when we're filming. So that's good. Hopefully it'll go back down. But I think at 53 or even 53.5, I would still bet it too.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we're moving lines, with these videos on Wednesday, get up to 53. And I'm kind of saying that tongue in cheek here. Also, sidewise, Kansas City won 7 straight against the spread since losing. And we talked about this on the video at Tennessee on November 10th. They did lose this game. This is a rematch game. Interesting point as well. Kansas City was -5 on the road and 49 the total in that game. And now we're seeing, obviously, Kansas City mostly 7 in the hooks here at home with a total of 53. So there has been a bump up in the total since the first game. And also, guys, keep in mind, Tennessee, they had the change at the quarterback position with Tannehill taking over. And since then, they're 9-3 straight up and against the spread. So this is a tough team to kind of step in front of. That's why I haven't bet it sidewise, Minty.
Same. I'm not going to bet it sidewise. I have underestimated the Titans all season, and I just would not be surprised if they were to surprise us again this week. So I don't know. Total.
Total to the over, absolutely, yeah. Minty. Well done there. And we got the back half of the doubleheader on Sunday. Great Sunday action here in the NFL. 3:11, 3:12, the rotation number, 6:40 Eastern kick, 3:40 Pacific. Green Bay Packers at the San Francisco 49ers, Levi Stadium there in Santa Clara. This one mostly 7.5. It is pretty much across the board on the Sports Memo odds screen right now. That's San Francisco 49ers -7 in the hook at home. 46.5 the total here, Minty.
Right. And this also is kind of a rematch. They played a couple weeks ago and San Francisco blew them out. Right. I don't expect a blowout again this week. I loved the Niners last week, but I didn't trust them. And I thought that Vikings and the points was a safer bet, but I was wrong. And I will not betray Jimmy G like that again. I love the Niners again this week because I don't think the Packers defense will be able to stop the run with the Niners. We look at Tevin Coleman. Last week, he was a rock star. He led the team in rushing yards and scored 2 touchdowns. Even if the Packers were able to neutralize him, I think the Niners still have Matt Breida and Raheem Mostert. Overall, I think Jimmy G will be well protected enough to release the ball whenever he needs to, and Za'Darius or Preston Smith of the Packers will not have an opportunity to get to him. The Packers are allowing an average of 5.2 yards per carry in their last 3 games, so that tells us they're not that great against the run, and they've got to clean it up some this weekend, and I don't know if they will be able to. Aaron Rodgers is going to have Nick Bosa, DeForest Buckner, and Fred Warner on the other side of him, and he's going to struggle. I love the Niners here, and I really want to cash that futures bet I was talking about, so I'm going to be cheering them on real hard this weekend. I don't know. 7 in the hook, though, is just, I don't know. Maybe if we see it go back down to 7, I'll bet it, but I'm really, I don't know. I don't really know. I'm kind of on the fence about this one, but I'm leaning Niners.
And you already have action on the game, right? So the degenerate in you, Minty, doesn't actually have to bet it because you already have a rooting interest, right?
I do. And they can just win straight up and then I'll cash. So you're right. I don't have to have action on this game.
And in the total, does anything kind of intrigue you there? I mean, you mentioned Jimmy G, Aaron Rodgers, the 2 quarterbacks. San Francisco's defense, actually Green Bay's defense.
They're not bad.
Yeah, it's not getting the pub that the other defenses are, but still, the Packers defense hasn't been bad all season. Do you see any value here, 46 and a half?
I'm kind of thinking the under, but I don't know. The Niners are just really offensively, they're just really great. So I kind of hesitate at that. I'm kind of neutral on the under or on the total here, kind of like the under, but I don't know. I don't recommend this for myself.
Okay. And Minty, something I'm asking a bunch of the guests this week. There's 4 quarterbacks left. We got Mahomes, Tannehill, Aaron Rodgers, and Jimmy G. If you could do 1 through 4 rankings, how would you rank the 4 quarterbacks left here in the championship weekend?
Ooh. Okay, we got Rodgers, Jimmy G, Mahomes, and Tannehill. I put Mahomes at number 1.
Okay.
Mahomes. It's between Rodgers or Garoppolo, and I think I might have them tied at number 2.
Okay.
And Hill at number 4, just because I don't know.
Okay, Tannehill at the bottom.
Yeah. Although Tannehill has made significant improvements to the Titans, I just don't really see him right now as like an elite quarterback. So we'll see this upcoming game. If it's a close game, then yeah, maybe. But I don't know. If it's a blowout, then yeah, Tannehill, bye.
Okay. I most people would probably agree with you, in terms of Mahomes 1, Aaron Rodgers 2, Jimmy G 3, and Tannehill 4. That's what the consensus has been. But you're actually bumping Jimmy G and Aaron Rodgers on the same plane there.
Yes, I am. I'm sorry for those who are offended. But I think Jimmy G's a great quarterback.
Okay. All right. You can definitely spin it. I just think that there is something to be said at the quarterback position in experience and right. Being here before. And that's why I would give the nod to Aaron Rodgers. But I could see your argument towards Jimmy G as well.
Maybe I'm just biased with like the young quarterbacks who are doing really, really well. Because I love seeing guys that are just like fresh out of college or just like, still in their second, third year and they're doing really well. So I think that's why I put Mahomes so high up there.
Yeah. I mean, Mahomes is awesome, what he's been able to do there at the quarterback position. But Minty, great breakdowns of the 2 games. And guys, we got a special coupon code here, Minty20 at checkoutsportsmemo.com. We'll take $20 off anything site-wide on sportsmemo.com. Minty, M-I-N-T-Y, 20 at checkout. $20 off any play, any season-long service, any 7-day package, $20 off, sportsmemo.com. Minty, couple topics here. It's been a wild week of sports betting topics, sports topics. I know you're an MLB fan, here in Las Vegas, the minor league team. I remember you kind of having pictures of going to games, and you've told me off camera that you enjoy doing it. What about this kind of MLB Astros scandal, the Red Sox getting pulled in? Your overall thoughts of what's going on, what can be done to change it? Do you think that this is, terrible for the sport, or, is there an argument to be made, being at the top of the headlines can actually be good long-term for MLB? What are your overall thoughts here?
So I don't doubt that cheating has happened before in the World Series or any regular games. This is just a big thing because Mike Fiers has, kind of whistleblown, and he's either seen as a hero or a rat. As I saw a post of Marco D'Angelo's, he was like, let me know your thoughts. Is this guy a hero or a rat? And to be honest, I think it was a good thing to have happened. And a lot of people are saying the Astros should get stripped of their title, which, yes, I do agree with. However, if that happens, how far do we go to punish these cheaters? I saw earlier that PointsBet, the sportsbook in Jersey, they were refunding everybody who had, oh crap, now I can't remember. Was it the
Dodgers?
The Dodgers?
Yeah.
It might have been the Dodgers. Yeah, who was refunding all the bets for the Dodgers to win the ALDS. And I was like, okay, well then how about before that? Do you refund those who had the Angels? Do you refund those who had whoever? And it's like, how far do you go? So yeah, I do believe in the title being stripped, the World Series title. But man, I just don't know the extent that it should go. I mean, we know that the managers and the head coaches fired and banned for the season. And there's going to be like a $5 million fine, and they don't have draft picks for the next 2 seasons. So yeah, I think that's pretty fair. But then does the MLB look further into that and look at the past World Series winners, and if they find a cheater, should they do the same thing? So that's kind of where is like a gray area of I'm not sure what else can be done. I would love to hear your thoughts, Drew, because I know you are into baseball as well. Like, what do you think about this whole situation? So they confirmed that the sign stealing was a thing, but then the whole Jose Altuve, the buzzer gate is what they're calling it. I don't know if you've heard of that or seen the video.
That's funny, yeah. No, I haven't.
So that's unconfirmed right now, but they're looking into that. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, and Minty, I wasn't sure. I thought you meant like who did they play in the World Series. I'm actually not sure off the top of my head who they played in the ALCS. But yeah, I can see what you're doing. And a lot of times when sports books do that, not that it's not a good thing, it's just part of their marketing budget. They want their name to get out there, so they'll just say like, hey, anybody that made a World Series bet here, the $20, the $100, we'll refund it. But not that that's not a great thing for PointsBet. But in terms of what I think, Minty, I think anytime there's a recording device, that becomes cheating. I always go back to high school, which Mike Fryer is interesting enough from Fort Lauderdale and played unfortunately, I didn't make it to the MLB. He did, but in high school, played against him. And one thing from my high school team, Minty, it was just a known thing when you were on second base and you could get a read on the opposing team's signs. You would just shout out, like my name, Drew Martin, my number was 11. And if it was, hey, let's go, Martin, that was fastball. And if it was, hey, let's go number 11, I knew that it was an off-speed pitch. So I never even thought that would be cheating. And it was just kind of known throughout all the players. Yeah, part of the game, kind of. And I'm sure that a lot of other baseball teams have been doing that, some form of that. But when it becomes, recording and then banging on the thing, that just becomes a little bit, I don't know, in my view, very much cheating. But I don't think you can take the technology out of it, Minty. I think that you should add technology to it. So like the offensive coordinator talking to the quarterback, I think that you should be able to do that with the catcher and the pitcher and the pitching coach. They should all have a little thing. And so you don't even have to do signs anymore in MLB. Add technology, not take it away. What do you think about that?
That is very interesting. I did not think about this. And you know what? Drew, you having played baseball growing up and in school, I am not athletic, so I don't know any of this stuff. So that's a really good point that you brought it up as a strategy instead of it being cheating. So, yeah, I guess adding technology would, but then there are ways to hack technology and it's just like, I don't know. I think it should be played maybe without it. And oh gosh, it's like I said, it's just such a big gray area. The public sees one thing and then, the players see another thing. And I don't know, it's just this whole mess. But I think the punishment it fits the crime, I guess, for how big this has blown up.
Yeah. In Minty, just yesterday, I did a thing on Twitter, got pretty good response in terms of, I can remember in 2017, 2018, the Houston Astros home road hitting splits were drastic. They were much better at home. And it's not like I had a crystal ball and knew they were cheating or anything like that, but I remember using it in my handicapping in terms of looking to be betting on Houston at home and not necessarily fading them away, just looking to be betting on them at home because they saw the ball better at home. And it was about the same time that they had that hill in center field and with the poles on it. Well, they changed that right about that time, and they changed the batter's eye right behind the pitcher. So I always put it that the Houston batters were used to the new batter's eye, and their opposition were not used to it. So that's why I used it into my handicapping and made some money in that time frame. And I was piggybacking off of them cheating, but not even knowing it. So that's what I did that video on. I just wanted to throw that out there in terms of, guys, when you find like little statistical advantages over the course of a year, ride those, because they can you can jump onto things where they're cheating, and you're using it to profit.
Wow. Yes. Very, very interesting. That is great. I don't think I really noticed that at that time and use that to my advantage like you did, but now I will be looking at stuff like that.
All right, Minty. Also, the minor league baseball possibly slashing 42 teams in the near future. Minor league baseball pretty well. You have any thoughts on that and how it will affect MLB?
Yes. Now, nobody cares about minor league teams unless you live in a town with a minor league team. Now, I personally grew up liking the Anaheim Angels because my dad liked the Anaheim Angels. And so whenever I see an Angels logo, who are now the LA Angels, I think of my dad and I think of home. So that's why I like them. But I was never passionate about the Angels, okay? A year ago, Las Vegas got a AAA team called the Las Vegas Aviators, and we are the sister team of the Oakland A's. Never would I pay attention to the Oakland A's, but when the Aviators came, and baseball is such an all-American sport and very international. I think it's like right after soccer, if in my opinion, as international as it is. But when the Aviators came, I loved the A's, and you bet I got an Oakland A's hat and a jersey. So I get that the league is slashing these teams to try to save money, but think about small towns without a major league team. The repercussions of getting rid of these minor league teams could result in major league fan base declining a bit because fans will lose interest if they don't have a home team and a team tied to that to root for. And I read an article on NBC Sports, and this is the example that they provided, which I thought was great. If you live in Billings, Montana, they have the Mariners, who are a 12-hour drive away, the Twins, who are 12 hours away, and the Rockies, who are 7.5 hours away. Billings' rookie affiliate is the Mustangs, who are tied to the Reds, an advanced rookie team of the Diamondbacks called the Missoula Paddleheads, and another advanced rookie league of the Chicago White Sox called the Great Falls Voyager. And I can totally vouch for this. I love Las Vegas so much. And as much as I like the Angels, I'll feel like that's my home team. My other home team, as equal, is the Oakland A's. And like I said, when the Aviators came, I was on board and I loved the A's after that. And yeah, sure, call it bandwagoning, but we never had a professional team here. So this is a great way for small towns and smaller cities without those major league teams to get tied into the major league teams. And when they go out of state and go to Oakland, like me, I can go root for the A's, or I can go to LA and see the A's play here. Like, I think those small things make a big difference, and I don't like that they're slashing the 32 teams, or possibly, but I understand from a business perspective, it's fiscally smart, but maybe in the long run, it might not be smart. I mean, it shows that they don't really care about the fan experience anymore, and they see ticket sales like declining because maybe the teams are tanking or ticket prices are just increasing too much, but MLB doesn't need, fans anymore. They can make money off of like TV contracts and advanced media and stuff like that. So it's kind of sad to see that they don't really care about the fan experience anymore. But I love my minor league team, the Aviators. So, and now I love the Oakland A's. So I disagree with this decision if they do decide to get rid of a lot of minor league teams.
Yeah, Minty, I can see that. That was a great breakdown. And it's interesting how major league teams and just professional teams overall get kind of a fan base. And there's more than just being from that town, like you're saying, throughout the minor leagues, you can become a fan as well. So, yeah, very well said. And Minty, we got one more topic here I want to bring up. Vegas Golden Knights. Know you're a fan of, know them very well, being from here in Las Vegas. And they're shaking things up at the top, firing their coach. Huh? It's pretty big news here in Las Vegas, it being a hockey town and all. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. Las Vegas is a hockey town, Minty. The Vegas Golden Knights are front here in the town. But what are your overall thoughts on what they're doing? Did they make the right decision? And how do you think the team's going to be going forward?
I can tell you now that the city is still in shock about the firing of Gallant. Gerard Gallant is very loved here in Las Vegas because he was part of building the Knights up to the Stanley Cup and made us a more unified city. So the public is super upset, and even more so that the current head coach is formerly, an employee for the Sharks, our arch nemesis. But I was listening to my friend Jesse Granger of The Athletic, and he made a really good point. Peter DeBoer, I should say, is a very respected person in the NHL community. And as much as the Vegas public doesn't really see it that way, we can't deny that he has a great resume. The first season in New Jersey, he took the Devils to the Stanley Cup, And then the first season in San Jose, he took them to the Stanley Cup finals. So, that's per Jesse Granger of The Athletic. And A change is a change. And I think the best time is now. If they were going to fire a head coach, January is the best time, I think, because it gives the team time to settle in with their new coach before the playoffs. Last night, the Knights won against Ottawa on the road, and that was a very big win. And that was really good for Peter DeBoer. It definitely gave Vegas a little bit of hope and trust that maybe we're headed in the right direction. So I don't believe personally that he'll stand as a head coach for more than 2 years unless he takes us to the Stanley Cup again. So we shall see.
We shall. Minty Bets. Follow her on Twitter at Minty Bets. Coupon code here, guys, for sportsmemo.com. Minty20, MINTY 20 at checkout. We'll take $20 off anything site-wide, any single play, any season-long package, any 7 3-day 90-day package, all $20 off using the coupon code Minty20 at checkout. Follow her on Twitter at Minty Bets. I'm on Twitter at Drew Martin Bets. Let us know what you think of the pod and anything we should add going forward on Fridays with Minty Bets. Minty, anything else you want to throw out before we shut this down?
Yes, real quickly, Drew. How are you loving your move from Florida to Vegas?
I'm liking it. It's fun.
Do?
Vegas is a cool town. Yeah, like you were leading on. You know, I'm interested to go to, AAA games or the minor league games. Still haven't been to a Vegas Golden Knights game with football season coming to the end.
I think I am. The stadium. It's
crazy. I know. The stadium's right here. I still haven't been, but I need to go. Overall, it's fun, though. I would say it's the most entertaining city I've ever lived in. The food is the best city I've ever lived in. The people are a lot nicer than I would have ever thought.
Really?
I mean, the people are really nice. And it's a lot of different kinds of people in terms of, I've never lived west of the Mississippi, Minty. So like the Asian influence is very strong here. In the South, it's not like that.
No, it's not like that at all.
No. So it's just new things like that. But overall, I'm really liking it. I would say the time difference, you got to start your day earlier, but you can also end it earlier.
Exactly.
That would probably be the biggest thing with work, but yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's weird. When I went to the East Coast, like the latest hockey game started at 10:30 p.m. and I was like, oh my goodness, like this latest hockey game here ends at 10:30. But another question I had for you was there something super shocking to you when you moved here that like is just not a norm in Florida or anywhere else, I guess? I mean, people ask me all the time, what's it like growing up in Vegas? Like, this is all normal. Like seeing strip clubs, it's all normal. Billboards with half naked women on it and divorce lawyer billboards were all normal to me. And a casino being like down the street and slot machines being at gas stations, like that's all normal to me. So was there anything that shocked you about moving to Vegas?
Interesting.
That you noticed?
I mean, I guess I got to put it in perspective. Like I lived in Costa Rica and then South Florida in Fort Lauderdale before that. Those are kind of places where there's not, I guess there's less rules than say like Auburn, Alabama or Atlanta, Georgia, the other two places I lived. So, I mean, in terms of like the strip clubs and like, all that kind of stuff, that's all in South Florida as well, where I spent most of my life. So that wasn't too big of a change. I would say it's more just like living within an hour of going skiing. You can be up in a mountain where it's 70 degrees or 25 degrees and you can go snow skiing. And then you can come down to the Las Vegas Valley and it's like 65 and sunny and you can be like in a t-shirt.
Or you can go to the lake like 45 minutes away and it's like 70 degrees. Yeah, you're right.
Right. That doesn't happen in the South much. If it's cold, it's cold. And if it's hot, it's hot. It's not like you can change within like a car ride or something like that. So I would say that's the biggest change.
Interesting. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. I thought it was like that everywhere. Well, that's cool. Okay, I just wanted to know for my personal, because I love when people move here from different cities and they've never really lived on the West Coast. So it's interesting to hear what other people think about Vegas.
Cool. Well, thank you for the question, Minty. And I guess if that's it, we can shut it down if you're cool with that. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, happy Friday to you, Minty. Thank you out there for listening. Let us know if you're watching on YouTube. Please give the thumbs up. The like button does help us out. And feel free to comment if you're liking the show. If not, let us know as well. But either way, guys, best of luck with your bets. We'll be back on Monday for the NFL opening line report with Teddy Covers. Have a fun, safe weekend. Best of luck with your bets.